Like my chest, your scene is flat. No tension, no spark, no reason for the reader to keep reading. That's okay though. I'm here to help you fix your flat scene and bring it to life. Let's talk about it. So, hello, my name is Shadi and I'm a Black novelist in Japan, and I am very much so still sick. In my previous video about how to make a killer first chapter, I think it was from last week, I was sick in that video, and that's because I just recorded the video about 2 seconds ago, and now I'm recording this video, so I am sorry if my nose is still very stuffy. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about your flat writing. Before we get into that, I'm just here to say that I'm here to help you write your heart's contents. You can pick your poison and watch along, or just use me as background noise. Anything is okay, it's your choice. I'm just trying to help. I also want to say it's probably around the 18th when I'm posting this video, so that's why I'm in this clover and this St. Patrick's Day thing, if you were wondering. It's because it's around St. Patty's time, so happy St. Patrick's Day. I think this was posted the day before. I don't know. If you are looking for other good information and advice, please check my previous video linked above somewhere. Okay, let's get into it. You may be feeling like your novel is flat. Now, why do you think that? I also gave tips before on how to make the romance not flat, and I'm gonna link that video somewhere over here. I'm in a pink nurse's outfit in that video. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't, I don't know. One reason is that you're writing a scene to give information and an exposition dump, but you're not writing the actual experience that would keep the reader engaged, or in this case, yourself as a writer engaged. This one is a very subtle thing, but you may just be writing because you want to get the scene or the plot moving along, or you may be trying to figure out how to deliver some backstory, some important information, or maybe you just want to explain something. There are hundreds of different reasons why you may have this, again, exposition or information dump, but maybe the way you're going about it can change to make it more interesting. When you're just dumping information, no matter how valuable you may think it is, I mean, you're not helping the reader to immerse themselves in the novel when you're just giving information like that, right? One question you may want to ask if you feel that your scene is flat or it's just a whole bunch of information is the scene an experience or is it a delivery system? Which one? Because more often than not, it's really not even an experience. It's just a whole bunch of information that can be told in a different way or sprinkled throughout a variety of chapters for the reader to piece together. They're smart. Trust them. That'll be another video for another day, but trust your reader. And to add on to that point, what you're doing is you're not helping to create the reader to live in the moment. You're just creating information that they may eventually forget. So that's why you also don't want to give information in a dump in a way like that. You want to just sprinkle it in. They're not going to remember the information. They are going to remember the moment that you create for them and the feelings that you breed within them when you give them that information, rather than dumping it. Number 2, you, my writer, are afraid to be specific. If you are too specific, that makes the scene feel too real or too alive, which in most cases is a good thing, but often when you're writing and you're trying to make sure every little thing lines up, it can feel like hell. A lot of the other times you can have flat writing where it's like, she was sad, or they argued, or he was nervous. And I will say, writing like that is okay. I always, in the first draft, I'm sorry, in the first draft, as I'm writing everything out, I put, just so I know what's happening here, and as I'm reading it and going back and editing, oh, they were angry, okay, next. And then I just keep on writing because I may not have the visual in my head just yet. I know they're angry. I know they're like writhing, but breathing? I don't know. But I know at that moment I don't have the words to express it, and I have said this before in other videos. That is why I just quick, they were angry, move on, because I'm not trying to lose the momentum that I've already built up to get this scene going. Just be sure to liven it up after. Yeah, she was angry, but how is she showing that? She was so angry that she deleted his number from the phone. She blocked him on all social media so that he cannot find her ever again. He was so pissed at his wife that even though they were supposed to sit together at this dining event, he went and sat on the other side near the other people, away from his wife. Now that, oh, that would make me so angry. I would have to beat him up in public if my husband, I don't have a husband, but if my husband ever did that. That silence between them stretched way longer than it should have. You can add in the detail after, when you're ready, to liven it up and keep it from feeling too bland. 3, I feel like I don't have this problem just because I overthink everything, but I do notice that, and I've said this before, lots of armor, plot armor goes on, and somehow a scene solves a problem way too easily or conveniently for the main character, or if you want to say another way, a problem is solved way too cleanly. We need the blood splatter on the floor. If that blood is on the floor, it's not just going to be cleaned up like that. A murder happened. There's going to be aftermath after that, right? Right. If you can, try to think about it realistically. A lot of the times it does not take one conversation to solve a problem. It takes multiple conversations to get the problem solved and done with and moved on with. And even after the problem is solved, usually there's some aftermath of something or someone having lingering feelings or whatever. You don't want the communication to solve the problem too easily. You don't want to resolve the tension too quickly. Come on, like if you've ever been around tension in a room, you know it's not solved with the snap of your finger. Even if you think you are the most rational person in the world or you're making the most rational character in the world, don't let them be right too early or too quickly. Let them make wrong decisions. I'm saying that as someone who has characters in their novel who thinks I'm the most right person in the room. As someone who sometimes also thinks they're the most right person in the room, even though I'm wrong 95% of the time. I'm wrong 95% of the time. So I know straight up, when it comes to characters, it is not realistic to have them right every single time. Real life, it's messy, it's chaotic, it is incredible. Flat fiction, while efficient and maybe convenient, is not the best. So keep that in mind. 4, you may be writing and playing it safe. You may be writing the version that people are expecting you to write or what is trending. I'm so sorry. What is trending right now? And I know you're probably like, Ghostwriter, that's so stupid, I would never do that. No, you may accidentally fall into that trap and you may accidentally write what is expected of the time just because it's what's expected of the time. I feel like for romance novels especially, we're kind of deviating and branching out from the typical romance stuff, but we all know the typical happily ever after, which is fine because I love a happily ever after and I love writing happily ever afters. But for those that choose to deviate from it, that's good. When you start following the same formula of your favorite writer or your favorite novelist or whoever or whatever you see trending, that's how you become a bit predictable, and you don't want to be predictable. Make something new, something unique. And one question I suggest you ask yourself as you're writing that may help you avoid the predictability is, what would your character do if no one were watching? I can tell you the things I would do if I knew no one was watching and if I knew there were no consequences. Okay, let me not say no consequences, but you get the point I'm trying to make, essentially. Just adding in that sprinkle of their true nature or things they would probably never think or say out loud. This can kind of shake things up a little bit and kind of deviate from probably even the normal thoughts that the reader themselves usually has that they wouldn't actually say out loud. Ooh, this right here. Okay, the character has no contradictions. That's my 5th point. The character has no contradictions. This point right here, this goes into plot armor. I don't feel like this is discussed enough, and I think for the most part, writers are really good about not having their character contradict themselves so much, but I think especially in novels, especially the ones that I read, I should say, having that moral contradiction of, well, I know this is wrong, but I'm gonna do it anyway, or I know this is right, but I'm gonna do the wrong thing. However you want to spin it, twist it, bop it, pop it, whatever. Thinking about that kind of contradiction within themselves or with the person that they're with or whatever the case may be will be a great way to liven up your novel. Have them want closeness, but have them also actively sabotage it as they go about that closeness. Have them say they're fine with something when, you know, no, I'm kind of hoping that you'll chase after me when I run away. Just have that kind of contradiction. There's so many ways to go about contradiction. It's really just up to you to choose. when you have contradiction in your story, that creates more dimension instead of having one flat Stanley flat character. And I basically gave a whole bunch of tips in the section I just talked about, but I am going to go through and list out some real tips that may be beneficial for you. 1, for my beginner writers, I really suggest this, but try to write the scene that you're having trouble with, or the one that you feel is way too emotionally raw. Like, it reveals some deep thoughts that you maybe didn't even know that you felt. Sometimes a lot of flat scenes come from not having that emotion mixed in, whether that be your emotion or just the character's emotion, whatever it may be. You just want to make sure to add that in. I can say, and this is a challenge I really do want to work on this year, but it's kind of I'm not nervous to say it, but I don't write sex scenes. I don't. I have thought, I should try, like, just to see what a sex scene that I would write would come out as. I've always wanted to try, but I haven't tried yet. I want to challenge that this year. And I feel like writing scenes like that really push the boundary. Like, I've never actually tried. Anytime I've actually tried to write a scene, I always like cut it off so that instead of a lemon, it's a lime. And if you read fan fiction, you know what I'm talking about. But this is just an example of how I would probably write to make it more honest, or even if I was feeling like dramatic. And I'm not talking about for scenes, I'm talking about for like any scene that I'm avoiding writing. Anything I feel that maybe is too personal, I really recommend just trying to write it and seeing what comes out, because you never know, it might be something beautiful. Also, you don't have to publish whatever it is you're writing that may be a little bit more vulnerable. You can just keep it to yourself and use it as mental practice, or I guess physical practice because you're writing it out, but you catch my drift. A lot of people use this technique, I heard in university, but tip number 2, write the scene backwards emotionally. Not literally backwards or anything, just the emotion backwards. Start from the end and then work your way back. I hope that made sense. Just to break it down, you can decide how a character should feel at the end of the emotion and then just work back from it. Ask what needs to happen for that emotion to be felt. I don't know why I said that time. Ask what needs to happen in between for that emotion to be felt, or for that shift to change in their emotion. You can work backwards step by step to get them there, and then before you know it, you'll have that first part, and then you just read through, edit, and it'll be smooth, like a smooth doo-doo. Number 3, you don't need the explanation, just keep the reaction. It goes into what I was saying before when I was talking about all the information being just dumped in front of you. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. If you need to read through that part that you just exposition dumped over, read through it one time, delete it, and then rewrite it. You can replace it with sensory information. You can replace it with silence. You can replace it with a gesture. You can replace it with all kinds of things that will communicate the same idea, just in a different way, in a very short way that may resonate with readers a little more. And in saying that, letting it resonate can also let it have a bigger and stronger impact with your readers. This is also just a really quick and good tip, but introduce a very, very small secret when you're ready to. If you're wondering why your scene may feel a little flat, it may be because you're missing that curiosity aspect, the one that comes with having some mystery involved. So change that by dropping a little nugget of a secret. Have a character have something they want to say that they're just like, mum's the word, I can't say it. It doesn't need to be a big twist or anything, but you know, you can think of something that just creates kind of subtext or insinuates that there's something else going on. Have something be withheld. Keep in mind whenever your friend calls you or texts you and says, oh girl, I have some tea. Okay. You're like, okay, when can we meet? When can we get tea? When can we get tea so I can hear the tea? Like, you're already up and you're ready to go. So just dropping that little nugget of they have something they want to say, but they're not saying it, may be beneficial. And my final point, the 5th point, write from the body, not the brain. What do I mean by that? Let me explain. Often when you're stuck in thought or you're not really sure how to progress a scene, you may go to sensation. If you're stuck in thought and you're not really sure how to progress a scene, sometimes moving to sensation is a good way to kind of get things going and get the scene moving. This is just going to be a very small example, but instead of having them have something internal that they're thinking, think about their hands. Think about their hands. What are their hands doing as they're feeling something or thinking something or going through this emotion? What are they doing while they're talking? What are they avoiding while they're talking? Or it could be avoiding through, of course, mentally, but I'm talking about with their hands. So what are they avoiding touching? Imagine someone places a cup in front of you that you think is poison. You're not touching that cup, and you're actively going to try to do something else to busy your hands so that the person doesn't notice that you think that you're avoiding their cup of tea because you think it's poisoned. Try to think of it in terms of motion. That was my maybe not so good example, but you get what I mean, because the body reveals a lot that the mind doesn't. I really suggest my psychology coming out. Please think about studying a little bit about body language. It's really fascinating, and when you pick up on it and you actually learn what a lot of body language means when you're out with people, even when you're writing, it's just very valuable information, both in novels and in life. Now that I've given you some writing techniques, I really hope that this will help you on your writer's journey. I am so sorry. I think my voice sounds okay, but I struggled through this video. I'm pretty sure I cut out all my coughs and every time I use this. But I am struggling today. Wish me luck. I have to go to work soon, but I really did enjoy recording this video, minus the sniffles and the coughs. This was such a pleasure to write. Oh my god, why do I keep saying write? It's because I'm a writer. This was a pleasure to make, and I'm really so grateful if you stuck around to the end. And yeah, if you have anything valuable to say, feel free to comment it or keep it to yourself. I don't know. Anyways, you can check out my playlist on writing techniques above, and you can check out my, do I have statistics? I didn't have statistics for this, so there's no research, no statistics, nothing in the description box, I guess, aside from if you want to know the song playing in the background. If you want to check my behind the scenes and my life in Japan, in Japan, you can check out the B-roll credit, my favorite part of the video, the end, where I have my socials up at the end. I guess that's all I want to say for this video. Again, thank you so much for watching. I promise I will hopefully feel better in the upcoming videos. I'm recording very sporadically and out of order, and I'm just doing it in between work, so we'll see what happens. But if I'm not better, please just bear with me. I promise. Hopefully by the end of the month I will feel better. We'll see. But I hope you are better than me, and you make sure you stay healthy, happy, safe, and creative. And yeah, that's it. I will catch you in the next video. Until then, please be sure to write your heart's contents. Bye!